So your Series 66 will expire in 2 years, even if you have a job. What? That's crazy. No, it's not that big a deal. They really just changed the process to make it a little easier to figure out whether you need the 63 or 65. And this is for Amy, okay? Because she has a 66 and she was studying for the 65 because she thought, which makes no sense, what we talk about. And she was like, well, what if I go to California, give up my 7, and they don't take the 66? So she was taking it anyway. So this solves that problem. At the end of the 2 years or whatever, you're going to have credits. And actually, they start it right away. You get credit. So if you take the Series 66, you'll have a 63 credit and a 65 credit. Now, that will go as long as you're registered as a broker-dealer on an NIA, I can't speak, both credits will progress. But let's say you go to the broker-dealer side and give up your 65 side. Then the 63 part of the 66 is good, and then the 65 may expire after 2 years. Or if you do the EVEP program, then you get up to 5. Because what I learned is that the 63 and 65 are the base qualifying exams. The 66 is an alternative way to get them both. So the main ones are 63 and 65. If you pass the 66, you will have basically passed both the 63 and 65 at the same time. And then if you're registered for both, then they both carry forward. If you're just at an IA, the 65 carry forward, but not the 63. It's actually made it easier. So this way, if you decide to change and just go one or the other, you don't have to retake another exam. So to recap it, if you get the 66, you can actually choose at some point where you work whether which one gets held or both of them. And now, even if one isn't being held, you can join starting in September sometime the EVEP program, which extends your licensing. It'll hold your license in a way for up to 3 more years. So you can have 5 years before you would lose it, as long as you do annual continuing ed. Let me also talk about what situation caused this. So I now mentioned Amy, but think about it. If you have the Series 66, it's only valid if you have the Series 7 alongside it. So if you don't have the Series 7 or not going to get it, you can only do the 63-65 combo route. But if you have the 7, you can get the 66, which is both of them together. So a lot of people said, wait, if I give up my 7, do I lose the 66? Well, not necessarily, because if you do it this way, if you lose your 7, and say you let it go and you go to an investment advisor firm where they won't carry the 7, then your 60, and if you read your 65 portion will continue to go forward, and then the 63 heads toward its expiration, which is either 2 or 5 years. So that's where the confusion is. If you do the 7, then the 63-65 combo, there's no even like vagueness. But here, there's not a problem. Now that they fixed this credit system as of last January, they were building it around, and now it's there. And that's kind of why a lot of people in the beginning of the year got this, like all of a sudden I got credits for tests I didn't take. There's a lot of glitches. They fixed it quickly. But it was like people got credit for the 63 and the 65 and the 79 when they never took the test because they were trying a new system and there was a glitch. So again, you will get credits, much like the SIE. If you had the 7 before 2018, automatically on October 1st, 2018, on your broker check showed up an SIE credit. That's what's happening here. We have credits. You can look on your FinPro account. Remember, everyone by now, or at least 80% of the people by now, should have a FinPro account if you're in the business, okay? If you're in the business, you should have a FinPro account, and it'll show your 63 and 65 credits as they're going, and this way you'll know if your firm is carrying both sides. There we go. So remember, do not panic when you see that your 66 license is going to expire in 2 years. It doesn't. The actual 66 doesn't, but going forward, you'll have 63, 65 almost separate. So there's literally no difference between taking the 66 and 65, 63 combo on a regulatory basis. Testing-wise, different story.